Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros. I talk about politics, sports, and entertainment to keep you well-rounded. What's going on around the world? If you don't like hearing the truth, definitely don't tune into this channel. So let's get started today. So first, I'm going to talk about President Trump's speech to the nation tonight. You know, when is America going to elect a president that looks like they can make it through a full speech? That's the first thing I want to say. The last 4 years we had Joe Biden. He literally he was a vegetable. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know his own name. He shit in his pants multiple times. He looked terrible. Then you had President Trump today. He sounded like he was wheezing. He sounded like his lungs were filled with fluid. He didn't sound healthy or well at all. And you just think to yourself, it's like, can we please elect a president that's not 70, 80 years old? Can we elect a president that can, do karate or go to the gym or just look healthy? It's like America keeps electing these presidents who are, 75, 80 years old. And all we keep getting is more of the same. What's the old saying? Doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're going to get different results is the definition of insanity. And when you see Trump up there tonight, he looked like an old, defeated, corrupt man. And that's what he's trying to give off this aura like he's winning and America is winning and we're winning. And he's told on himself multiple times in the speech. He keeps saying that America doesn't need any oil from Iran or the Strait of Bermuda. They don't need anything from Iran. We don't need oil from them. Everybody should be buying oil from us. We have enough of our own oil. Well, if that's the case, why is gas prices through the roof, Trump? If we have all this oil and all this gas, why is gas prices through the roof? You know why? Because this situation can make your billionaire buddies billions upon billions and trillions of dollars. It gives them the reason to jack up the gas prices just because you've put it out there yourself, Trump. We got all the gas on the planet. We got all the gas we need. We don't need gas from anybody. We don't need oil from anybody. Well, if that's the case, why is gas prices through the roof? Here, I'll give you the answer. Because you want to make your billionaire buddies even more money while the rest of us suffer. And you've totally sold your voting base out. It's just absolutely mind-blowing that Trump can get up there during his speech tonight and he's bragging about attacking Iran and blowing them to pieces and blowing them to smithereens. And we're going to drop bombs on them. Didn't we elect you not to do this? Didn't we elect you to show, to gain peace through strength? You ran on the total opposite of what you're doing. The total opposite. And nobody's allowed to bring this to Trump's attention. Nobody. The reporters in the White House, hold on a minute. Time out, pal. You ran on no new wars. You ran on no endless wars. You're not even a year into your presidency. And here we are again. And this war is not ending in a couple weeks. First it was going to be a 5-day war. Then Trump said we won the war. Then it's only going to be another week. And now it's 3 to 6 months. And it's never going to effing end. It's just never going to end. God, I can't stand him. I just can't stand him. Trump was saying today, he's like, I really like people that like me and say good things about me. He had some bizarre rant that he went on in the White House. They actually took the video down. He's like, I like people that like me and I'll fight for you tooth and nail if you say good things about me. It's just like, Trump, if you were to keep your promises, why I voted for you, putting America first, not last, not bringing us into endless wars, bringing the debt down, bringing gas prices down, bringing down our property tax, getting rid of the 55 million illegal invaders like you promised to do. You know, Tampon Timmy Walsh tells you to get effing lost, and you put your tail between your legs and you ran away and you abandoned, you know, deporting criminals that broke the law. I'd be singing your name from the rooftops. Do you think you're the only person that's been through hell supporting you, Trump? Do you think you're the only one? You think, okay, fine, they try to take your life, whatever. I mean, that's a whole different video. You think you're the only one that suffered for your presidency, Trump? You think you're the only one that lost something for your presidency? And what'd you do it all for? What did we do it all for? To be sold down the river once again. We all put it on the line for you, Trump. All of us. See, the only difference between us and you is this. You're a trillionaire. You can take losses and rebound like it's nothing. You can, you know, get fired or anything can happen to you. And for the most part, you'll be fine other than, you know. But the rest of us, we're left to fend for ourselves supporting you, Trump. Absolutely disgusting, isn't it? You know, Trump, he can't make up his mind. You know, first we're not doing a regime change, and then we are doing a regime change. And he says tonight that they changed the heads 3 times, the leaders of Iran, because he killed them all. It's like, well, which one is it, Trump? Are we doing regime change? Are we not doing regime change? Is it about nuclear weapons? I mean, make up your mind. Get your story straight. Of course, there's just no... I'm only laughing because then he comes out and he says, the Strait of Hormuz, am I saying it? Bermuz? Or the Strait of Hormuz, that it'll open itself up. Interesting take. Let me get that right, because that's kind of embarrassing. I should know my stuff. Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, I'm sorry. Trump says the Strait of Hormuz will just open itself up. It's like, man, this guy's fucking crazy. Really? You think it's going to open itself up? After you killed the Ayatollah and now his son took over, and his son is like a million more times radical than he is? You think it's just going to open up by itself? You don't think his son might say, you know what? I kind of like what Iran is doing. I kind of like what the son is doing. He's like, okay, well, listen. Obviously, Israel is the aggressor. Obviously, these peace talks that Trump keeps pretending to have, the first time that Iran sat down with Trump to do peace talks, America and Israel sneak attacked them, basically sucker punched them during peace talks. There is no peace talks. You know why? Because that's not what Benjamin Netanyahu wants. He doesn't want peace. That's not what Israel, the terrorist nation, wants. They want to terrorize people. They want to murder people, take their land, take their homes, expand their borders, steal their gas. I really think that Israel hates Iran and hates Lebanon and the Lebanese because they are the original inhabitants of that land. They are the, Iranians and Lebanese, and there's another group that I'm forgetting. They are the original inhabitants of Israel. When was Israel established again? I think 1948. Let me look it up. $1948, Israel was established. Before that, there was Iranians, there was Persians, there was Lebanese, the names changed but it's the same people. And if you take their DNA goes back to the country of Israel. So they're the original inhabitants of that land. Some Palestinians too. And that's why I really believe that these fake Israelites like Benjamin Netanyahu, they're not the real Jews of that land. They all have European ancestry. They all come from Europe. None of them will have blood or DNA traced back to that land. But Iranians do, but Lebanese do, but Palestinians do. And I mean like 90% of their blood goes back to that land. And that's why I think that Benjamin Netanyahu wants to wipe all these groups off the map. I'm convinced that's the reason why. You know, the synagogue of Satan, the Bible even talks about it. The Bible even talks about the fake Jews in Israel. The Bible talks about it. How is the state of Israel from 1948, the original inhabitants of the land in 1948? You're forgetting about 3,000 years of history before then? But hey, I'm sure the ADL will be putting me on a list now for telling the truth. So Trump, he was also, Trump was also saying how America is dominating the war and we're dominating Iran, but then he wants the entire world's help. Italy told him get lost. Spain told him get lost. Britain told him get lost. You know, Trump is mad because the Brits or the UK, they got this big navy and they don't want to get involved. So Trump claims that we're dominating the hell out of Iran, that we're taking it over. It's over. We won like that. No problem. But yet he wants the entire world's help. And then he wants to keep bringing in more troops and more troops and more weapons. And then every time you hear one of these Pete Hegseth or the talking heads of the cabinet of the administration, they're always talking about implementing the draft. They're always talking, they need more soldiers. They need more weapons. They up the age for the military. You have all these Israel first idiots like Rob Schneider insisting that Americans go and die for Israel. And that's another thing. It came out today. Israel said, we are not putting any troops on the ground when America puts boots on the ground in Iran. We're going to bomb we're going to help you from the sky. We're going to help you 3,000 miles away from in the sky, nice and safe. Pushing a button, bombing, while we send your 18, 19, 20-year-old sons and daughters to die for Israel because they should be honored that we let them die for us. Just disgusting, isn't it? Then Trump brings up Obama. Trump is like, and it's true, Obama did give Iran $1.5 billion. Now, let me ask you something. Trump was also saying, oh, Iran has been chanting death to America for 40 years, death to America and death to Israel. Okay, let's just say it's true. Then you have Hussein Obama gave him $1.5 billion, the same country that chants death to America and death to Israel. But some way, somehow, Trump doesn't go and try to prosecute Hussein Obama for treason. I mean, make that make sense to me. If there was ever a case to try somebody for treason, it should have been Hussein Obama when he gave Iran $1.5 billion. I mean, I would have personally waterboarded him myself. But hey, you know, Trump's too busy putting Israel first. Trump told us before we voted for him, he's going to go after the deep state. He's going to prosecute this one and things are going to change and they need to be brought to justice. And has any of that been done? Has Trump went after any of the deep state? The border, we can't even get a border wall. These people are raping, these people are sexually assaulting and murdering our citizens left and right. They cost every state in the entire nation billions of dollars. These illegals, every single state, every year in America, spends billions of dollars on illegal aliens, giving them free stuff. Whether it's healthcare, I don't give a shit. It's costing the taxpayer billions of dollars. But hey, America first, right, Trump? Then Trump goes on and he calls Iran the bully of the Middle East. No, Trump, that's your friends, Trump. That's Israel. The only bully in the Middle East is Israel. Bombing all their neighbors, stealing their neighbors' land, stealing their neighbors' homes, committing acts of terrorism against all their neighbors, being the aggressor. And then they buy up all the media in America. They buy up all the social media. They buy up all the television. And then they pretend to be the victim every step of the way. It's all an evil, vile plan. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting on every level. It's just absolutely disgusting what the country of Israel does to its neighbors and how they act like they're just so innocent and they don't do anything wrong. It makes me sick to my stomach. Throwing the word terrorist around like oxygen. They throw the word terrorist around like they throw the word anti-Semite around. Everybody is a terrorist but them. They are the aggressor in every single situation. They come out and Benjamin Netanyahu says, well, we bombed this country first, not because they bombed us, not because they threatened us, because we thought they might bomb us. Oh, man. It's just absolutely disgusting. It really is. Alex Jones today, he was really upset about Trump. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to play that video. You know, the state of Israel, they bought these airwaves and they bought this. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. They have all these podcasters on the same, basically on the same, working for the same company, you know, attacking Tucker Carlson, attacking all the legitimate podcasters who are calling out all of Israel's atrocities that they're committing against the world. And guess what? Guess what? Donald Trump's son is on the list, just like Officer Talmud. Donald Trump's daughter's on it. I'm going to get into that in a minute so I can show it to you. But let me move on from President Trump's speech. It was absolutely atrocious. Just nothing. You know, somebody needs to remind Trump. It's like, hey, Trump, you ran on the total opposite of what you're doing. That's why I'm just done. I'm over it. Trump is up there patting himself on the back, doing a victory lap. I mean, he just looks so defeated, so pathetic at this point. He didn't look healthy at all. Again, he was wheezing on his lungs. He sounded like absolute shit. It's about time America elects a president that's, 50 years old, 45 years old. Somebody that looks like they can run a mile and do some legitimate push-ups, because between Trump and Joe Biden, these clowns look like they can't even make it through a speech that goes 10 minutes. What a joke. To say, I can't even tell you how disappointed I am in Trump. I'm not going to curse today. I promise myself I'm not going to curse, because it's just over. It's officially over. And it's going to be a long 3 years, because it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better anytime soon. And this war is not going away. Gas prices in my home state went up again. I think it was $4.19 a gallon today. Yeah, Trump, you're winning, all right. Trump doesn't need any oil or gas from anybody. We got enough. We should be selling it to everybody. Okay, Trump, so why is the prices through the roof then? Oh, that's right. The American people, the American working class, we all get to suffer while your billionaire buddies make more money. Oh, you make me sick. You really make me sick. But hey, that's Trump. He's bought and paid for. Beyond corrupt at this point, just totally corrupt. Sickening. Let me move on to the next topic. So Patrick Bet-David today, I love this show. I used to love the Patrick Bet-David show. I looked forward to listening to it every time it was on. And then I made a video right after New Year's. I said, all the frauds will be exposed in 2026. That could mean Trump. That could mean Patrick Bet-David. I had a feeling we were going in this direction. Look back at my video, and that's exactly what's going on now. All the frauds are being exposed. Patrick Bet-David is trying to save his reputation because Adam Sosnick has single-handedly destroyed the PBD show. He has no respect for Patrick Bet-David at all. He has no respect for women. He has no respect for anybody that he debates. He has nothing to say of substance, so then he attacks them personally. When Sosnick debated Anna Kasparian, and he was like, go ahead, woman, all you do is talk over me. Your husband's probably a feminist. And it's just like, I thought for sure he would have been fired after that debate. When he comes out and when Anna Kasparian's like, Benjamin Netanyahu's lies made 5,000 American soldiers lose their lives in Afghanistan, and Sosnick's exact words were, cry me a river. He's just a scumbag. That's what he is. Adam needs to stick to, what he does best in the nightclubs in Miami and the weekends, picking up barely legal teenage girls, because that's all he knows how to do. Sosnick is a DEI hire. I feel that he's on the PBD show for two reasons. He knows all the Jewish people at YouTube, so the PBD show is not going to get any strikes with Sosnick on it. And at this point, he's got to be bringing PBD some type of money. Maybe, Patrick Bet-David wants to get into making movies. They got a big studio going on in Florida. So maybe if Patrick Bet-David plays the game, covers for Trump, tries to hide that Trump is Israel first, maybe they're going to throw some movies his way. It has to be something. Movies, money. I mean, it all boils down to the money. Let's be serious here. But Sosnick did a number on Patrick Bet-David's reputation. And you know what the saddest thing about this? And I mean this with all sincerity. Patrick Bet-David knows this game well. It's like Trump. If Trump was doing everything that he promised, when his son would run for president, I would vote for him in a heartbeat. If Trump was living up to his part of the bargain, doing what he promised, I don't care what hell I would go through. I don't care what I would lose in this life. I'd be talking positive about Trump, and just everywhere, any chance I got, all the good things that he would be doing, I would be talking about it. And whatever it cost me, it cost me. And I would love to be doing that right now. But I just can't. It's just all it's going to do is get worse, progressively worse. We're going to lose thousands upon thousands of soldiers in this war with Iran. The terrain in Iran's like being in a fishbowl with all those mountains. They know the land inside and out. It's going to be like cattle to the slaughter. But let me get back to Patrick Bet-David. Now, if Trump was keeping his promises, I would have no problem voting for his son. None, Barron. Now, I wouldn't vote for Barron Trump if you paid me $10 million after what his father did to us. And that's the saddest thing about the Patrick Bet-David situation is Pat knows the game. He knows the players. He knows the people. He knows how you have to move. He has two sons. They're going to get the best of everything, and I mean that in a good way. PBD is going to mold his sons into good leaders, good men who could make a difference in America, possibly become president of the United States of America. But are you going to vote for him after Patrick Bet-David lets people like Sosnick ruin his reputation? We all know why Adam's saying the things that he's saying, because he's Israel first. And Sosnick has no respect for Patrick Bet-David at all, because every time Patrick Bet-David tries to correct him politely, like a boss, with grace, the only thing Sosnick does is talk over him, be more arrogant than he already is, and truly show us that he's a DEI hire that doesn't deserve the job. See, that's the problem with Sosnick. He's never had to earn anything. And when you don't have to earn anything, you don't care if you destroy things. And that's what Sosnick is doing to the PBD show. And it was great today. It was really great seeing PBD. Let's jump into the video and I'll go from there. PBD confronts Adam about debating Dave Smith. It was awesome.
Right, so we are live, folks. Obviously, everybody knows when we think about what everybody wants to talk about. I mean, I've been tweeted at a million times. Pat, can you please talk about this? Can you please talk about that? We're finally going to be addressing it. Tom's not wearing a tie today. I know it's an issue for a lot of you guys. You're not happy about it. We will talk about that. There are a lot of other things that's on your mind, such
1 second. Make sure the volume's up.
as Chicago Bulls, Jaden Ivey, not Nancy Ainsley. This is Jaden Ivey. We want to say the names properly, Vinny, because it's important to go through it.
Yes,
and it's important because last Friday, the great Sean Hannity was here. Here's a guy that's been doing this for decades. Came out, sat down, did the podcast. And by the way, it's not easy to do that. Nobody likes to do that. You know why? Because if I go and host for somebody else, the audience is going, oh, we missed this, we missed that. So, I want to thank Sean.
PBD, just stop, okay? You brought Sean Hannity on you brought him on your show because you want Sean Hannity to try to brainwash your audience that the war, that America attacking Iran is legitimate. You're trying to bring some credibility back to your show. Hannity has no credibility anymore either. He's bought and paid for by Israel. And at one point during the show, one point during the show, Hannity says, I'm never coming back here, because every time Hannity was trying to bring the conversation one way, Sosnick would hijack it and bring it in a totally different direction. And Hannity was getting frustrated. And Adam's like, oh, that's pretty funny. You'll be back. And Hannity's like, no, I won't. But that's what happens when you give a guy a job who doesn't earn it or deserve it. He doesn't know his place. He doesn't know when to shut his mouth.
Here in front of everybody that you came and did that, especially a guy that's a decorated guy in the industry that's been doing great work his entire career. And so thank you, Sean, for the audience that tuned in on Friday. I got a lot of commentary. I'm glad you guys had a good time together. I think the biggest complaint was we didn't talk about Iran enough, so the goal is to go 2.5 hours into Iran today, so stay tuned. We're definitely going to be doing that. And Adam's committed to bringing and doing a podcast with a significant other. Hopefully one of these days we can see that happen. And gas prices are at $4.
For anybody that doesn't know, Adam lied. He's like, I have a significant other, when Dave Smith was like, who depends on you, Adam? Your mother? Because Adam started to make it personal, so if you didn't see it, that's why PBD is mocking Adam right now. Like, yeah, maybe one day you'll do a podcast with your significant other. She'll probably be 16, but hey, whatever.
I saw the gas prices. We got to talk about that. Humberto came in today. For no reason, I get a call from HR saying, why am I getting a complaint to HR from Humberto for gas prices hitting $4?
Yeah.
What responsibilities does our HR department have over that? I'm like, RJ, I don't know what to tell you. Humberto, you do one thing, he gets upset. Him and Justin got into a big fight this last week in front of everybody at SLS, which was hands down the greatest event ever, which if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. It was hands down the most epic event we put together at the Trump Doral, the people at Trump Doral. Phenomenal experience we had there. We got to talk about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, man, there's a reason. There's a part of me that thinks the founders of, I'm convinced, Vinny, the founders of Uber and Lyft, I'm convinced they are such diehard fans that they created the company purely with the thought of mind to prevent Tiger from driving. Because they're like, why drive knowing you get in trouble when you drive? Just let us drive you.
We'll take it.
And we'll give you millions of drivers around the country that'll take you anywhere you want to go, and he's not using us. So we got to talk about Tiger. Rumor has it he's not going to be competing in this week's tournament that's coming up. People are devastated. Some are saying it would have been entertaining if it would have been, because, who knows what it would be unpredictable, right? There's an element of it. But who doesn't love Tiger, right? I'm one of those guys that loves Tiger. There's a lot of stories that came out on conversations, on fights, on ultimatums, and all this stuff. Apparently, King Charles is coming to Congress, and we have some people that are curious to know what's going to be happening. Trump's ballroom judge says, no, time out, we're not doing this, and I think he's going to Supreme. Is he going to sit down today to see the exchange, the conversation?
Yes, he is. He will be in the audience.
President will be sitting down in the audience.
Wait, Pat, so you mean a king is coming after we just had a no kings?
Well,
That's up.
the no king
Sorry, I thought this was starting to where Pat finally says something to him.
protest.
there,
Vincent. Listen, it's important stuff there, Vinny, because we can't have a king here.
God.
And then Trump's addressing the nation tonight at 9 o'clock. Nobody know what it's about. They're wondering if, was he not happy with some of the trade deadlines? Was he not happy about some of the things? No one knows what it's going to be talking about. Scott Jennings dropped it a little bit some people from the White House apparently.
It was total garbage, the speech. Just typical Trump. We're winning. We don't need nothing from anybody, you know, but Trump wants the entire world to get in a war that Israel and America started, and they're saying no thank you. So he's mad at the entire world. But hey, Trump claims we're winning the war, but we need everybody's help. And then Trump claims we don't need gas from anybody. We have enough gas to sell to everybody. But meanwhile, gas prices are through the roof in America, in case somebody just tuned in.
Apparently leaked some information to the news that they're speculating what he's going to be talking about. We'll address that today. Maloney is apparently not that happy. Dow went up 1,100 yesterday. It's up 0.5 point today. Oil is right below $100 based on what Tom just told me a minute ago. Oracle's about to lay off. You know, they say...
All right, I got to hurry up here.
Many of you say, you guys is this. Adam, you guys is this. Adam, you were on the Dave Smith. You and Dave Smith did a debate together.
Here we go.
On, what do you call it? On Piers Morgan. I think that's the first time you were ever on. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the market has responded. And they've been, you know, saying their thoughts on how it went, what you did, what was said. Dave has retweeted and said something about this is the end of Adam funeral. He made some comments that went viral. You've responded. You made some videos at him as well. But I just want to kind of get, because a lot of times from the audience, you have to know how this works. The audience sits there and watches and says, I know for a fact Pat prepped him and the team prepped him and this and this and that, and they don't know what happens. I want you to share with us, because the audience is curious. They're asking me, what is your impression on how you did on the debate with Dave Smith?
Well, despite what you think, I haven't listened or watched any of the internet comments. Zero.
You.
Like I don't go on.
Yeah, sure, Adam.
To Twitter, I don't check the comments. It's just not something that I do. Some people are messaging me on my neck. What do you think? I don't know.
Maybe you should. You might learn something. I don't understand how you could be in this space. I mean, you don't put any time in anyway to prepare for the show. You don't do any work at all. But one of the best ways to learn and correct things, it's like, I always watch my own videos. I'm like, oh, I said this word wrong. I need to move the camera this way. I need to lose weight. There's always some little things that you could do to make your work better. Obviously, my other room is not set up, you know, for my political show. I'm in my room for my football show for the Steelers. But there's always something you can improve on to make your work better. And unless you study your own work, how would you know what to improve on? But this is just typical Sosnick. He's a DEI hire.
People are saying stuff, and I'm listening to a song called "Ain't Nothing Gonna Break My Stride." Ain't nothing gonna.
He has no respect for PBD at all. Like, he just thinks it's a joke. I mean, he's absolutely dismantling PBD's reputation. He's actually dismantling PBD's son's. You know, if PBD's son ever wanted to run for president, people look back at this and are like, PBD let this clown shill for Israel. You know, not to mention PBD brings on Adam Dershowitz. Oh, Epstein didn't work for Mossad or Israel. It's like, come on, man. Come on, Patrick. You got to do better than that. You're hurting your own credibility going down this path. And people have long memories when it comes to voting, again, like Barron Trump. You're going to let this piece of garbage ruin your reputation, everything that you've worked for? I just don't get it. I don't. And there's certain topics that PBD won't go near. And the biggest topic is this. What did Trump run on, Patrick Bet-David? No more wars. America first. Drill, baby, drill. He didn't run on this Israel first garbage that you're pushing on your show. And you know that. But you don't talk about that. You're not going to try to make Trump accountable. See, the problem with the Patrick Bet-David show right now is this. You know how, like, when you listen to Jasmine Crockett talk, or, you know, the Don Lemon or these liberal news stations, you're just like, oh, I can't. Well, that's what Fox News has become now, because everybody's lying and shilling for Trump and Israel. Patrick Bet-David is doing the same thing. You still have conservative podcasters that are sticking with Trump. You are totally destroying your own credibility. Do you think Trump gives a F about you? If he gave a F about you, he wouldn't be selling us all down the road. Trump is a trillion. You know, Trump has made billions during his presidency. He doesn't care about your reputation. If you're a guy that's trying to build, The only thing you have is your word. That's it. You have your word and your credibility. And when that goes, especially if you're not rich, you got nothing. You have nothing in this world. If your word means nothing, your word can be, if you were as rich as Trump, it doesn't matter if your words mean it, because he's good for eternity. I mean, and I'm saying from a financial standpoint, you can't sit at the table with me. See, because with some people, it's not about the money. With some people, it's about the credibility. With some people, it's about the truth. Patrick Bet-David here, he keeps saying things like, oh, the next phase of reinventing yourself. See, that's the problem. I don't reinvent myself per se. The only side I'm on is the side of the truth. And if Trump wants to start acting like globalists and liberals and Democrats, because that's exactly what he's doing right now, changing the names of things and lying, and everybody's lying. Right now, Fox News and every conservative and every MAGA that's still supporting Trump, you are all acting like the liberals that you can't stand.
Slow me down. And that's how I feel about this. So they told me last minute, hey, you're going to go on Piers Morgan. Sure, I think Tom was maybe going to do it. Tom wasn't able to do it. They called me up. I said, sure, I'll debate Dave Smith. Listen, there's no doubt that Dave Smith is smart or wise or well-read.
Yeah.
The same thing could be said about when you debated a room full of 20 communists on Jubilee. They were all very smart. I was very impressed by all these people.
The communists that PBD debated were very smart, Adam. I think Patrick Bet-David, the camera's not on him, and I think I just heard him breathe and throw down his pen, and he got annoyed. I watched that, and they were fucking idiots.
But just because you're smart doesn't mean you're wise. Now, do I think Dave Smith is smart and capable? Sure. Do I think he's funny? No. Do I think he's right? Definitely not.
I'm asking you, how do you think you did?
I think I did fine. My intention wasn't to play nice.
Oh, no, Adam's intention wasn't to play nice. So, he had nothing of substance to say. He doesn't know any policy. So he resorted to name calling and attacking Dave Smith personally, because that's his go-to.
So I went on Piers Morgan. I don't really have plans on going on Piers Morgan every single day. That's not my thing. It's a food fight every single day. Respect to Piers Morgan. I wanted to make some waves. That was my methodology. I could be right. I could be wrong. I don't care.
Okay, so
the problem is
you
this.
said you don't care?
No, meaning like I don't care what the market thinks of me.
Yeah.
I know what I believe.
That's what he just asked you, Adam. He said, so you don't care? And then he's like, I don't care what the market... That's what that means, Adam. Put your arrogance on pause. He's your boss still. I know this is complicated for you. You're like, I don't care what anybody thinks. Well, you should, Adam. I mean, you're only destroying PBD's credibility. No big deal.
I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I stand for what America stands for. Dave.
Yeah, you know what he stands for? Israel first. And he'll just lie and chill in the camera and have no problems sending your sons and daughters off to die for Israel. Be like, oh, cry me a river if they die. I don't care. As long as Israelis don't die, no big deal.
Dave Smith, what pissed me off, he continues to say that America is the greatest terrorist regime in the world.
So what?
And that Israel is the greatest terror regime in the Middle East.
So what? That's his argument.
Sure. That's his argument. My point was that only 1% of Americans vote for libertarians.
Adam keeps hiding behind that he's defending the troops and he's defending America. And he thinks that's he tries to manipulate. He's not that smart to manipulate. He thinks that's going to make everybody on social media rally around him. We all know why you're saying that, Adam. I mean, 1 minute I've seen you come out in the past and say, I'm America first. Then I've seen you on the Patrick Bet-David show ask Pat, do you love Iran more or do you love America more? Or could you love both equally? And Pat put you in your place and was like, America hands down is better. And then you said that you love Israel and America the same. So how could you be America first if you love both countries? But you don't love both countries the same. The only country you love is Israel. You're a liar. You're getting money from Israel and Mossad, and we all know what you're doing, Adam.
He's a hardcore radical libertarian.
Okay.
So when you wrote the book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely, you said, who's your enemy?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know who my enemy is. I don't really have a lot of enemies. You know me, Pat. It's a big difference between the internet and comments in real life. I walk around in real life. I have zero issues.
You don't have issues there. That's
okay.
not the conversation.
So the conversation.
Oh God, Adam, just because you're a effing moron and idiot doesn't mean it's okay, it doesn't mean somebody's gonna confront you in the street about see, this is the problem with you, Adam. You really don't understand what a debate is. And that last comment just shows it. It's like, you ever have a debate with somebody and then they want to fight you because you had a debate? That just shows you're a low IQ loser. And Adam thinking that it's going to come down to it just shows you he doesn't really understand what a debate is.
Conversation that I was just basically establishing is that Dave Smith, as potent as he might be on a podcast or even on Joe Rogan's for that matter, people don't support this guy. I support our troops. I support America. I support our allies.
I think Joe's had him on 20, 30 times.
Irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant. So ask.
Joe Rogan's irrelevant? Interesting. Being on the Rogan show 30, 40 times is irrelevant. Interesting take, Sosnick. Interesting take. It just shows how far out of reality you actually are. I mean, Rogan only has the #1 podcast in the world, but hey, it's irrelevant.
Whether you agree with the guy or not,
guy's unbearable.
Joe likes.
He really is unbearable,
so the
isn't
question
he?
you got to ask yourself is, from my perspective, there is issues, there is approach, there is what's next for you. When I look at everybody in the marketplace, including myself, everybody in a marketplace, including myself, I leave and I say, okay, how am I recreating myself for this next phase? What areas do I have where it's a leak for me? What habits do I have that I need to pay attention to? When we started building an insurance company, yesterday I had Lee Strobel on, we had a great conversation together. One of the guys I would study a lot was Billy Graham. And Billy Graham and his friends, in 1948, they came out with something called the Modesto Manifesto. And at that time, there was a lot of pastors that were getting caught up with young girls. And they came up with this thing saying, hey, what are our threats? And they came up with the threats that they had. It was 4 things. One of the ones was pastors hooking up with members. Number 2 was churches taking advantage of the members with money. Number 3 was the ego of a pastor when you get on stage and you feel like, you are God. Like some pastors actually become godlike because of how much the church fears them and they liked anyways. They go through this. I said, okay, how do we want to build this company? It's very hard. So you got to think about ways to improve.
Well, if you want to build your company and Sosnick is destroying Sosnick has destroyed PBD's credibility. And I don't even know if it's fixable at this point. The Alan Dershowitz stuff, there's certain things that PBD has done and allowed that has destroyed his name. Destroyed. And it's not about reinventing yourself, as he's saying. It's about always sticking to the truth, regardless of what the consequences are, because you will always have an audience that respects that because they know what comes with that. The Bongino, Slum Gino is finished. Trump is finished. Sosnick is finished. But people, we know that PBD is Sosnick's boss. So when somebody like Sosnick is single-handedly destroying the show and PBD allows it, people look at PBD. That's what we're looking at. I'm not looking at Sosnick, the DEI hire.
I'm asking you. The argument is one end, because I don't know if you focused on making I've seen you make better arguments with Bassem Youssef than you did with Dave Smith. I didn't see you making arguments on Dave Smith. And the reason why I'm doing this with you openly, and I'm talking to you openly with you, is there's an element of also representing where you're coming from, where the expectation.
Like Adam always says, bingo, right, Adam? He doesn't have any respect for PBD.
Is, hey, when you go and be professionals, that's not how I handle debates. I don't handle debates that way. That's not my MO. So if you're close to me and you're handling it that way, that is not my style. I don't do stuff like that. And Dave and I don't even agree on some of these issues. But if I'm having a conversation, it's about what is this next phase. And by the way, the reason why I'm having this direct feedback with you publicly is for the following reason. This is how I roll, Adam. I will give you private feedback and have your back 100%. I've always been like that. This is why my guys like working with me, and they know how tough it is at times because I'm always challenging them. But if my private feedback that I'm giving doesn't land, and it feels like you have immunity to go run around and say whatever you want and keep saying, I don't give a shit what people say, I do. There's an approach to take about this game. I don't care that we have differences in debates. We push each other here and we have arguments and, comment, I side with Vinny today. You know what? Today, actually, I side with Adam. There was a couple moments we had where you had a couple clips of like they sided with you.
PBD, I think you're trying to be nice at this point, and there's really no reason for you to be nice. He's been warned multiple times. You don't have to make it look like you're being fair because everybody has already known you've given this idiot a million chances. And he doesn't care what you're saying. It doesn't resonate with him. He doesn't respect your company, your name, your brand. He doesn't respect his opportunity at all. And it's like, what do you always say? If somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? I don't know. I just don't get it, but whatever.
I think Adam's the point today. And I'm like, oh, okay, Adam had a point. And then, hey, Tom, no, I'm siding with Tom today. Pat, you were off today. No problem. But it's recreating for the next phase of what is that next phase for you. And that's a very important thing for you to be thinking about. I've had that conversation with him, recreating himself.
You see what PBD said here, recreating yourself? I called this out a couple weeks ago. I started to notice PBD was like telling Vinny, like, oh, your faith, I'm really proud of you. Start the show with a prayer. Then the other day with Hannity, this is how PBD's trying to reinvent Adam. PBD probably figured that millions of people would tune into his show with Hannity on. And then Hannity had Adam, of all people, lead a prayer. The guy that hates Jesus, the measly carpenter. So I really feel like they're trying to reinvent Adam as this, he's going to get married and have kids. And, oh my God, he converted to Christianity. And now there's a new Sosnick. He's not the playboy in the clubs in Miami picking up 16-year-old girls anymore. Right, Adam? Isn't that what you say? Well, it's legal in Florida, 16. Just not buying it, man. Not buying it at all.
The conversation with him, recreating himself.
It's not recreating yourself. It's sticking to the truth. So it comes in waves. It comes in waves. Because listen, it's like Trump. I'm not recreating myself. I would love to be talking positive about him. But everything that he ran on, he's doing the total opposite. So I'm not gonna throw my credibility in the toilet for Trump.
I have the conversation openly with me on what I need to recreate. But for me, when I saw that, I'm like, you brought up another guy from the past that beat Dave. Great. You brought up no. There needs to be the Adam that I've seen debate that is prepared. He actually would have made some real good points there.
PBD, stop, please. He's horrible. Okay, I really don't. Like, you're supposed to be this big eye for talent. I'm just don't get it.
And you, by the way, you've been a moderator for Zero Hedge with Dave Smith and what do you call it, Laura Loomer, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what you did?
Yeah,
Didn't you moderate? Yeah.
Yes.
And I was a pretty good job you did as a moderator. So I don't know.
You don't have to throw him a compliment just because you're criticizing him. It's like, why do you treat him with kids' gloves? Now, am I saying that you have to curse at him? No, I'm not saying any of that. But his behavior is outrageous, and you know that. The way he's talked to women that come on your show that, have an argument, they're like solid in their foundation for their debate. Right away, Adam turns it into he tries to be like the Tates. When Adam is debating a woman, he gets his debating advice or aura from the Tates of all people, the human traffickers, pimps, pedos, crypto scammers. Yeah, that'll work. From Tristan Tate. He's got his 6 baby mamas on webcam and keeps all the money. Yeah, great. I mean, Adam, talk about what a great idol, huh? What a childhood hero.
I'm saying this publicly to say this next phase requires all of us to recreate ourselves, and that includes you. In a big way. And I've said this privately 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago at that dinner place we went to, and I was very direct with you. But you're cornering me to have to say this publicly to you right now. And you have to make a decision on what you want to do with this next phase. You got to recreate yourself.
Sure.
It's a very
PBD went to the comments. He's trying to catch the wave, what's going on social media. And he sees Sosnick getting destroyed from every direction. And he knows it's making him look bad. He knows that. That's the reason for the conversation. He absolutely knows that. But he's still treating Sosnick with kid's gloves. And it's not because of loyalty. I don't believe that at all. There's other things behind the scenes that we'll never know about.
very important thing. I'm being very respectful to you. And you had no idea that I'm going to go here this morning. You had no clue I'm going. And by the way, I intentionally changed today's business podcast to do this because obviously Monday I couldn't be here. We had certain things that was going on. This weekend I had, what do you call it?
SLS.
SLS. Sean Hannity did it last Friday, so I changed everything. And Rob and I, we had to talk about it yesterday and calendar to do it this way. But for me, sometimes, when people say, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And sometimes this is like the Trump effect. Well, Trump doesn't care. Well, Trump doesn't give a shit. Well, Trump doesn't do this. Well, contrary to popular belief, Trump looks at every poll. Trump listens to every comment. Trump listens to every criticism. So what you think that Trump does, I'm not telling you go read the comments the next day and go through all.
Exactly. Trump tries to pretend like he doesn't care what people say. That's a total lie. He's very aware of what everybody says. Everybody. And Sosnick is dumb enough to believe Trump when he's like, I don't care. He tries to be this strong. That's all. But Sosnick believes it. He's an idiot.
I don't recommend that at all. But I do believe a little bit of criticism to see, well, maybe there's a little bit of credibility there. There's a little bit of value there for me to receive. How can I receive this and recreate myself? Because if you're...
He's seething right now. Sosnick is seething. Look how mad he is. I love it.
not too careful, Adam, and I'll open it up to you guys if you want to say anything. I'll give you the final thoughts, and then I want to get on the next story, but I wanted to open up with us, get right into it.
The little child just got spanked. You know, he finally, somebody told him no, and he can't handle it. The DEI hires Sosnick.
Is the following. There is no April Fool's jokes today. I don't have one. Okay, so if you guys are expecting an April Fool's joke, I don't have one. This is not an April Fool's joke. I know what day today is. This is not, I've had certain friends of mine that are very good at, I used to be very good at the April Fool's stuff. I don't have one today. Maybe I'll have one for you next year when I'm in a different mood. But this is the part I want you to be thinking about. Is the market is going to criticize you. There's a very big difference between the bots. I read a comment yesterday, made the most disrespectful comment to me. And the first thing I did, I went to the account. It got started in February of 2026.
Oh, weird.
It has 2 followers, follows 6,000 accounts. That's a bot of somebody that created to say it. Forget about the bots. There are some people that are giving real feedback that we have to pay close attention to because, we can disagree. Even with the Dave Smith part, Dave Smith's issues, we can sit down and have a debate over the number, and I can still do it respectfully. Even when I went to Jubilee, they disrespected me. I didn't disrespect the kids when I spoke to them. Our position has to be a different position. And even when Trump calls out, he still is very paying attention to the likability score that he has. Love him or hate him, people like him. I'll pause. Vinny, any thoughts you had?
Respond real
of
quick,
course, absolutely.
I couldn't disagree with PBD more at this point when it comes to Trump and his likability. I think Trump had that before. I think Trump had that before this Iran situation, before the Charlie Kirk assassination, before Trump said Americans aren't smart enough to do these jobs and we have to import all these foreigners. Trump's likability is over. It's finished. It's completely finished. And at this point, I probably despise Trump more than I do Biden and Hussein Obama, and that's saying a lot. And if you don't think there's thousands upon thousands of other ex-Trump supporters that feel just like me, you're fooling yourself. The likability of Trump is over.
No,
So I'll just break this down real quick. We didn't have this discussion prior. You just kind of preemptively brought this up, and I'm totally okay with it. If I wanted to have a ideal,
Do you see the arrogance there? Do you see the arrogance? He's totally okay with it. Like, he talks like he's the boss and he can't be replaced. Like, oh, good thing that you're okay with it, Adam, because after all, if you weren't, what would you actually do about it? Yeah, I'm totally okay with it. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, Sosnick? You're a DEI hire. You got your job for all the wrong reasons. You didn't earn anything. And it shows every time you open your mouth.
Logical debate with Dave. I would probably rephrase it that the world is a dangerous place, and he wants to pretend that he's an ostrich and not engage with anybody. So, you know, to use an analogy, if this guy was a dating coach, he would say, just sit at home.
Dave doesn't want to engage with anybody. He debates everybody, you idiot. Dave Smith debates everybody. No, he's a dating coach because you're the ladies' man in Miami, in the Miami clubs, picking up 16-year-olds and barely legal chicks. He compares them to a dating coach now.
Home all day and wait for women to knock on your door.
Oh my God, dude, he's just unbearable.
If you're a sales coach or if you're a sales manager, that's like saying just stay by the phones.
What do you think's the outcome of a debate?
But the outcome of a debate.
Forget Dave Smith. This isn't a Dave Smith conversation. That could have been John Doe. I'm not talking.
But the point is that I'm trying to make was ideologically we're not aligned.
What is the purpose of a debate?
To find the truth.
The purpose.
He doesn't know. He has no clue what he's doing or talking about. Zero.
Clash of.
And this excuse, oh, well, Adam was asked to go on the, to debate Dave Smith at the last minute. That's the excuse that Vinny gives him. That's the excuse what the panel gives him. Sosnick is a political commentator on one of the biggest YouTube channels in the whole world. It's his job to be prepared to debate anybody 24 hours a day because you're always reading and researching on your own. So when somebody wants to debate you in the street or a restaurant or anywhere, you should have some pride in yourself to be like, I really need to be well-versed on what's going on here so I don't make a fool out of myself, so I don't ruin my own reputation, so I don't ruin the PBD podcast reputation. But that would mean that Sosnick would have to have some humility, which he has zero of.
Ideas.
Sure.
So somebody can watch and say, wow, good point. Never thought about it that way. Let me go back and look at it, right? That is the purpose of a debate. The purpose of a debate is for me to look at something when, like the moment where Hillary Clinton and Trump are going at it, and Hillary says, you know, him and all he didn't pay any taxes, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that. And then the moderator asks Trump a question and says, is it true that you paid this? He says, yes. I will use every single tax code that you have, just like all her donors do. And by the way, you've been there for 36 years. How come you've never changed it? So me as the voter sits there and says, that's a very good point. Huh. You've been there for 30, that's the debate. It gets people thinking.
Sure.
So if I'm going into a debate and I didn't make anybody think, what was it?
How would Adam get other people to think when he can't think himself? He doesn't think.
Purpose of debate.
Sure. Well, now, fair point. Well, the point that I was trying to make is that ideologically we're not aligned here. I'm supporting
Here
Trump.
we go. Here we go again. Here we go again.
No, you were not.
So I'm all behind Trump. Everybody wants to criticize Trump right now. The thing that I'm...
Yep, you were a never Trumper along with Ben Shapiro, along with Mark Levin, along with a lot of never Trumpers, Lindsey Graham. And you know why? You know why you're for Trump now? You know, you claim that the media lied to you and you were fooled. No, you were never Trumper because Trump wasn't going to bomb Iran. He wasn't going to do what Israel wanted him to do. And now that he's doing it, so now you love Trump.
I'm basically establishing is the fact that this guy has a luxury of living in America and wants to criticize the heck out of Trump when I'm defending Trump and our troops. The point that I was saying is I'm defending Trump. Dave's the type of person...
You see that with this garbage manipulation tactic that he uses? Like, oh, I'm the good guy. I'm defending America and the troops and Trump. No, what he's really doing is he's defending the president that's putting Israel before America. But if Trump wasn't doing what Israel wanted, he'd be bashing Trump to no end, just like Ben Shapiro, just like Mark Levin, just like the rest of the Mossad agents that work on American soil.
That'll root for the bad guy in the bad movie. So that's who Dave is. Aside from that, other than that, I understand what you're talking about. The reason that I brought up the Coleman Hughes, and I encourage people to go watch it.
Oh, God.
This was the sort of like the swan song event. Imagine you hype up this event. Here's what's going on. The SLS is coming this weekend. Here's what's going on. And this debate takes place. and it was a 12-0 drubbing.
My glasses are
that's
broke.
my point. Should I have conveyed it a little bit better? Sure. Should I have not brought up someone else's debate in my debate? Maybe I'll learn that for the next time. That's fine.
I just
but the
didn't
reality
ask
is
you the
this:
question.
he got whooped, and I called him out on it. That's all.
He got whooped. Okay. It's just like Sosnick. PBD knows he'll never get it. He'll just he's not mentally capable of getting it. He's just not.
Was.
Yeah, but it was your fight and his.
Sure. For the next time, I'll debate him just heads on. I brought up something that from the past.
But my feedback isn't actually that. My feedback is it's okay to pay attention to the pulse of the market every once in a while. Good feedback's being given. Not 80% of people, not 90% of people, but there are reasonable people that will give you good feedback.
Sure.
And none of us, there's not a single human being in the world that actually likes to be given feedback that we get excited about it. So it's
Oh, that's untrue. But anyway, some people want to be perfectionists, believe it or not. And hearing things that you don't want to hear is part of that process. There's no such thing as perfection, but you can try to perfect things. It's very painful. But when you're true to trying to be a perfectionist, you're open to anything that's going to make your craft better. So that's not true, PBD.
not like anybody likes it.
People that are not fragile, like Sosnick, who are not dedicated to their craft, can't take any criticism and have no inkling to ever try to improve because their ego is out of control.
It's in those moments where your character is being tested to say, you know what? Let me receive some of this and see if there's some good feedback and then process it.
I'm going to turn this over to Vinny. I'll just say one thing.
Yeah.
You know what Vinny and I do when you're not around?
What's that?
Here we
Hey,
go.
What feedback do you have for me? What feedback for me? We actually talk. We actually can.
He's so fucking cringe. Oh, what feedback do you have? He's just so cringe. He's just such a. Oh, I can't. He's just so. Ugh.
Hey, how many times have we done stuff like
But
that?
the difference is,
So-
you know what the difference is?
What's up?
Here's the difference. So this event at SLS, I asked the question because I used to always look at my guys and judge them on how hard they work, how great they're on scripts, how many books they read, and all this stuff. Eventually, I'm like, let me look at it in a different way. It was, how much information does this guy retain from what I teach? So you teach something, this guy retains 10%, that guy retains 20%, this guy retains 30%. Then the next thing is, okay, so he's winning on retaining information. He's smarter than you, let's just say, hypothetically, right? Okay. Now the next part is what? What's after retention? Implementation.
Execution.
So he only implements of the 30% he retained, 5%. He retained 20%, but he executes 20%. You retain 10%, but you implement 50%. Then it comes to coachability. Then it becomes the speed of implementation. Then all of that stuff. Feedback is feedback. It's receiving and implementing that matters. That score of coachability, high, low, is the difference between you and Vinny. And that's the coachability marker that I want you to be internalizing for yourself. So, Vinny, again, I don't want to be on this too long. I want to move on. But if you want to say something, say
This will take me 2 minutes. From a debate point of view, because I'll give both sides. He's never been in this environment, meaning.
Vinny, stop. Give me a break. Please just stop. Okay, you see, Vinny, you lose credibility too now when you're trying to make excuses for Sosnick. So just stop, Vinny.
When they send a van, when I go and do these debates with a panel of 6, everybody's yelling, talking over each other. People don't realize you're in.
Well, then I've watched some of your debates and your style is not working either. You're not getting any credibility. You're not making people think because people, and I like Vinny, but he just gets looked at as the screamer that's just screaming also. And it's just like, there's a difference between talking loud and addressing people and then people just yelling. And I think that's what Vinny's known for.
In a van, you're sitting in the sun in Florida. I'm red. I know you were hot. Even what's his name was in there. Jaden was in there. People are like, he's on cocaine. I read the comments because I want to know what the temperature is. The negatives were obviously you referred to another debate, which nobody wants to do. You were a little off. I felt, because I know you as a brother, I know that you were nervous. This is what bothered me, Adam. We are in here, and I know what's going to happen today on this podcast. Israel's going to be brought up, and we're going to go into it. You are amazing at that debate. And
he's amazing at the debate. Vinny, stop, please. There's nothing wrong with arguing with somebody, debating them, and things get heated, and you don't have to throw them a compliment when they don't deserve it. And everybody, Vinny, I mean, you guys are really just want to drive the PBD show right off a cliff because you want to throw out compliments that other people don't deserve. Like, the whole show is going in a very, very bad direction.
I was disappointed because, you know, you're in the moment and you refer to whatever. You have the arsenal. You had the ammunition. You had this big-ass arsenal,
God,
and you just used a pistol. You were just, like, kind of going after and doing personal. And I was disappointed because I was like, yo, you have it. You have it. You didn't use it. And this is my attitude.
He doesn't have anything, Vinny. You want to know why? Because Dave Smith talks about the policy. And this is the reason why nobody debates Nick Fuentes. They'll say, oh, like Ben Shapiro will be like, I don't debate Nazis. I don't debate losers. When it comes to policy and what Israel is doing to the United States of America, just destroying our country, it's very hard to debate Nick Fuentes on policy. You might be able to debate him on all the other catchy stuff that he says, but when it comes to policy, Ben Shapiro would get destroyed. Mark Levin would get destroyed. That's why they don't debate somebody like Nick Fuentes. That's why Sosnick can't debate policy. That's why he has to, I'm defending the troops, and Dave Smith called America terrorist and Israel terrorist. Well, guess what? Israel is the aggressor in the Middle East. They're attacking all their neighbors. They're stealing their land and their homes. If anybody deserves to be called a terrorist, it's the terrorist state of Israel. And who backs their play? America. So when you put it in that context, who are the terrorists?
I was young and I'd get my ass whooped. My mom would be like, you're going to go outside and you're going to fight that guy.
But Sosnick tries to like bring the emotion out of it. Like he tries to use that as a manipulation tactic.
Right now, you're not going to sit here and let it fester. I know that you're going to do it. You're going to have to debate him again. You have to do it again.
Sure. Okay. All right, Tom, you don't look like you have anything to say. It's all good. We can just
I don't have anything to say.
Tom, it's all your fault. I was filling in for.
It's so telling. When Tom said, I don't have anything else to say, it's just so telling. It really is. All right, let me bring up the thing with Alex Jones. I got to bring it up from Jesse on Fire, so just give me a second. Trump has just screwed us all. Trump has destroyed all of us.
All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So Alex Jones.
Here we go. Alex Jones, I'm sorry I'm bringing it up this way. I don't even know if Alex Jones is on YouTube. You know what it is? I can't connect to Twitter for some reason in my OBS studio, so I can't get Alex Jones. So I got to use Jesse on Fire's clip. But when you see what Trump and his family has done to us, his voting base, and what he's done to America, now he sold us out to Israel. It's just disgusting.
Is going to explain what has happened to our president, but not in so much as he's going to explain why it's happened to our president. And I am going to show you that today because a colleague of mine that you guys may be familiar with, Danks on YouTube, is he's very big on X, and he's been blowing up in every single major influencer, Tucker, Alex, Jimmy Dore, literally everyone is resharing a couple posts that he made, which connects the final dot for me that the president, he actually really did sell us out. As simple as that. There's no other way to interpret the information I'm going to show you in this video. And if that sets you off, okay, then, hey, don't be in denial about it. Just look at what the evidence is, and then you tell me if this is accurate or not. It's literally documented. It's like, here you go. This is who this person is. This is who they work for. Here is them giving the family over there uncountable amount of money. It is as clear as day. That is what we're going to talk about here. Now, Alex, I'm going to let him do his kind of give his spiel first, and then I will explain to you, what I'm referencing, and we'll go from there. All right, let's rock. So I filmed the rest of this video, and I'm showing you all the Alex Jones stuff. There's actually another part that you're going to see related to why they're walking us into thermonuclear war. Russian guy, Russian expert talking about it's inevitable, Ukraine, all this stuff. But I decided so that you'll hear me reference all throughout the video that I'm going to show you the way that they sold us out, throughout, because I was going to put it at the end, but I'm going to do it right now. Okay. So this is from Danks. Now listen very closely to this. Okay, listen very close to this, and then we'll get into the Alex Jones stuff. Okay, ready? And real quick, as per usual, if you guys do not mind, please subscribe to the channel like we agreed to. If you watch my content, I'll ask that you subscribe to the channel. That would be incredibly helpful. And everybody, please share this video on your social media. Help me get out of the... Go look at my views for the last 11, 12 days since I got flagged for whatever nonsense. The faster that people share my stuff externally, the faster I get out of this thing. And anybody who has not been subscribed yet, it would be amazing if you could do that. And everybody like the video. All right, so Dank says, let me get this straight. Josh Hammer called Tucker Carlson a useful idiot for foreign governments. Sebastian Gorka questioned Tucker's patriotism on national radio. Dennis Prager lectured America about our values while implying Tucker had abandoned them. And by the way, every major influencer that you respect has shared this post right here. The entire Salem media ecosystem spent months framing Tucker Carlson as compromised by foreign influence. Funny, because every single one of them broadcasts on Salem Media Group, and Salem Media Group's chief strategy officer is Brad Parscale. And Brad Parscale is the registered principal of Clock Tower X LLC. How is this all going to come back to the president? Oh, you'll see. Clock Tower X LLC is a federally registered foreign agent for the state of Israel. FARA registration number 7649. They got a $9 million contract funded by these guys, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through Havas Media Group, Germany. The filing states that these guys' government, you guys know, right? This government, messaging gets integrated into Salem Media Network properties. Now, it's really important that you see what I'm highlighting here. That's really important, okay? Okay, got it? So let me make sure you understand the logic. Tucker Carlson interviews someone that the establishment doesn't like. He's a traitor. But Hammer, Gorka, Prager, Laura Trump, Larry Elder, Hugh Hewitt, Dinesh Souza, Brandon Tatum, and Todd Starnes can broadcast daily on a network whose CSO, Chief Strategy Officer, is literally registered with the DOJ as a foreign agent for a foreign government, and nobody's supposed to notice, okay? So here's something also... and also this is the actual registration right there. Everything that he said is correct. So a registered foreign agent owns or is the CSO of a media company, and all of the guys mentioned right there, okay, Josh Hammer, Gorka, Prager, Laura Trump, Larry Elder, Hugh Hewitt, Dinesh Silva, Brandon Tatum, Todd Starnes, all of them are all part of the company that he is the chief strategy officer of. And here you go. Okay. But check this out. Okay, ready for this? In addition to that, real quick, actually, you guys remember Hunter Biden, 50% goes or 10% for the big guy, and he said 50% goes to his dad, all of that stuff. Do you think that would not apply to Don Jr.? Just saying, because check this out. So these two you may recognize and might have some influence over the current White House. Okay, Don Jr. and Laura strike a deal with Salem Media, the exact company we were just talking about.
Yeah, a foreign agent called Israel that's controlling the social media platforms, that's controlling all our news stations. I mean, Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, he's a Mossad agent also. I mean, they've infiltrated the Trump family. Trump's grandkids are, their father is a Mossad agent. And that's why everything is happening the way it's happening.
Which is documented in control of, who's in control of them, okay? And they have reached a deal with Salem Media that will make the pair of the Trump family members a major part of the company's strategic growth and content offerings moving forward with the network. As part of the deal, Salem acquired a 30% stake in MXM News, a mobile news aggregation app co-owned by the Junior, and they entered into a long-term service agreement under which Junior and Salem will work together to develop a series of high-impact promotional and growth initiatives. Okay? And then they also were given stock in Salem. Okay? So what you're looking at is this completely compromised media group that is literally being run by a foreign country are now...
Would any other country allow a foreign country that's dragging him into wars control their media? No, but Trump will. His kids will. The entire Trump family is nothing but traitors, and they've sold us all down the river. Every one of us. I'm done with Trump. I'm so done with them. It's over.
And are now
It's been over. I mean, it's been over for a long time.
completely business married to the family of the decision maker who just attacked a foreign country on their behalf against the wishes of 85% of the United States. Now, if that is not the definition of selling us out, you tell me what is. And by the way, if we put boots on the ground, whose kids do you think that's going to be? Whose kids? Over there? His? Nah. Yours. Your kids, dude. Okay? Now, Alex Jones apparently does not know about this deal because he doesn't mention it, but he has a lot of other good information, and I'm going to show you that segment right now. Now, in a second, I'll show you the video that I was actually about to show you, but I want to show you this one first because he's talking about how Trump is going to walk us into, he's sleepwalking us into a nuclear war.
Iran is not backing down. They're not backing down, and I don't blame them for backing down. And if they want to develop a nuclear weapon, you know why they want to develop a nuclear weapon? Because they know that Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel wants to nuke them. It's for their own protection. I wouldn't give, if I'm Iran, I tell America and Israel, take a walk, see you on the battlefield.
War. Like, this guy, Trump could not be doing a worse job right now if he tried, from my perspective. And again, I'm going to show you why I feel so confident in saying that. But I wanted you guys to see this first. So I want to show you this 4-minute clip, and then I'll show you what else Alex showed. Actually, you know what? I'll actually do this. I'll show you guys this clip, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about and how I know they sold this out, and then I'll show you Alex's clip, and you'll see he doesn't know. He doesn't know about this deal that I'm going to show you.
We have this UN diplomat quitting yesterday saying they're having open discussions believing the nuclear war is about to happen. So that's how dangerous this is.
Okay, look, and according to information already Russia obtained, British and French already prepared the plan, but they're going to immediately, after that happened, transfer a nuclear warheads to Ukrainian, put out the so-called Ukrainian missile, and, will launch them into Russia. So then
that's what Zelensky's wanted for 4 years. And I love how NATO acts like there's plausible deniability. If Ukraine uses a nuke, Russia's not going to go, we're not going to nuke you. But they believe Europe will win the war, and in the history books, they will be the good guys. So they're setting up nuclear war.
Correct. They're setting up. And there is no way.
And I'm just going to ask everybody, is that what you guys vote? Is that what everybody was hoping for when you cast your vote in 2024? Was
Exactly. I voted for no more wars in America first. And instead, what are we going to get? We might not all wake up tomorrow because it might be the end of the world from a nuclear war. But hey, Trump's America first.
A president is either so corrupt or so, I don't know, so focused on listening to people tell him he's the Messiah that he would not see this coming and walk us into it. You're not going to convince me that this guy wants civilians dead because he keeps on throwing these empty bluffs at Iran, which I'm glad they're empty bluffs. Believe me, I'm not down with us killing women and children for any reason on purpose, especially not at mass. But like, this is crazy, man.
All right. Listen, I'm done. You heard what you heard. Trump, he's compromised at every level. His grandkids, the father of his grandkids is a Mossad agent. Jared Kushner is a Mossad agent. It's only going to get worse. So it isn't getting better anytime soon. It's the next 3 years is going to be a long 3 years. This war isn't ending anytime soon. Gas prices aren't going down anytime soon. Trump, obviously, he's betrayed everybody in the entire voting base. It just hurts. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And it's over. It's over before it even started. Once again, the president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, he put Israel before America. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros.